Hey guys, NanoAxelover here. Today I'm going to talk about my piercings and a lot of stuff, so let's go on to that. So, I have individual piercings, I guess. It's a new period, but yeah. I have 3 piercings, 4 if you include the lobes being individual as in one. So, I have my lobes pierced, I have this my cartilage up here pierced, my helix, and my nose, my nostril, or whatever else they call it. So, here's the thing about piercings. They should honestly be with a needle, unless it's complete skin. Then yeah, go ahead and use a gun, but using a gun is risk of infection, risk of not being pierced correctly, because I had to go through that. I got mine pierced, I think when I was in middle school. Yeah, I was in middle school, and I got my lobes pierced, and they just didn't do it right. So I had to go to the store. They were like, oh, you gotta take them out, let them heal, and then get them re-pierced. So I did, and I got them re-pierced. A second time, it actually worked. So, I don't know, but for piercings that don't have skin, like piercings that have cartilage, I would honestly just say get it with a needle. I know it might be scary and everything, but it's so much better. And I say it's so much better because doing it with a needle is less scuff or risk infection, because their needle should be sterilized, and if you're supposed to go to a tattoo shop, usually tattoo shops actually pierce people. Like, I know a lot that are piercing and tattoo shops, like most of them, and then they're actually pretty sterile because you can literally wash them, take the needle and stuff out of the package, and then they do it and put it in. So I've had 3 piercings done with the needle. And I say 3 because I had my cartilage pierced up here before, and it didn't work out. Like, it was right. I don't know. I can definitely feel the other hole on the back of my ear, because that's a scar. I lost it. I guess it was right there. And then this was the second one. Hold on. Second time I got my piercing with a needle. I have to turn this because I like it to be like that. Then my third piercing with a needle is this. My nose piercing. The needles that they do it with are hollow, and they're pretty thin too, so you don't really need to worry about that. I got my lobes pierced a super long time ago, like years and years ago. This one I got like maybe 2 years ago, or if not a year. This one I just got recently. This one I just got last week, and then I have to clean it for another week, and then I can actually change this out. Personally, I like it just the way it is now, like with the hoop, but I also like just a stud. Never put rubbing alcohol or peroxide on it, because that will just make it worse. Rubbing alcohol or peroxide, whatever you call it, I call it peroxide or whatever, both names, those are for open wounds. Like when I got bit by a pig, that's what we did. Put it on that. When I scratched my knee up because I tripped, I always used to trip going for the bus. When I was in elementary school, I would always trip myself. Like, I remember having this pink, like, stretch band pants that I loved to wear, and then because I tripped so much, because for some reason I was always late for the bus, so I would always trip so much, and eventually there were holes in the knees. And I remember one time I scratched my knees up so bad that it was literally somewhat open, and there was sand and rocks in there. So open wounds and whatnot, that is for peroxide or rubbing alcohol, not for piercings. For piercings, what my piercer told me, the piercer who pierced my nose also pierced my ear, the same exact person, same exact name of the place, but different place, because apparently they were tearing down the whole entire building. So, my piercer told me to use sea salt water, so sea salt and just purified water. You want me to clean it for 2 weeks, and then in 6 weeks I can take this out and change it. What he always tells me in the paper, he always gives the same paper to anybody he pierces, but even if it's like the same thing, or you already know what to do, like I already know what to do, because I've gotten this one pierced by him before. This was the first one I got pierced by him. It was the same thing as having this one pierced. Sea salt water. Except for, I think this one, I had to do it longer. I think it was like, I don't know. I don't know, but I know for this one it was 2 weeks, and then 6 weeks I can take it out and change it. Trying to think of other things. It also depends on where you go, because honestly, I think the place that I've been going to is really awesome, and they are really good at what they do, even though I've never gotten a tattoo there, but I've always gotten a piercing there. And ever since I've gotten a piercing there, like, this is my second piercing I've got there. I've gotten there, and my piercings have not closed up or anything, probably because I've been keeping my piercing in. This is the one I've had for a lot longer, because I've been keeping it in, and it's been turning, and I've turned it myself. Even though the thing that sucks is your hair gets caught in it, and I'm sure this one will get caught in it too. So I would just talk to the piercer or whatever. When I got this one pierced, okay, so I called them and everything. When you guys are planning on getting a piercing, even if it's a different one, I would suggest calling them. No, I recommend calling them first before you go in and get everything, so you can get everything at once. That's what I did for this one. And when they answer, well, you gotta call them the time that they're open. Like, the place I went to is open from like 11 and then closes at 7. So if you go to a place that opens at 11 and then closes at 7, anywhere from 11 to 7, you would call. So what you would ask is, how much money would it be? What would I need? And if they say birth certificate, ask if it can, well, actually, it could be just a copy anyway. But if they ask for a photo ID, ask if, like, if you have a school ID, ask if you can use a school ID if you're a minor. Because when I was a minor when I got this one, and I literally called them, all I needed was like $20, a copy of my birth certificate, and a photo ID. So I got the money and my birth certificate, a copy of it. So because I didn't have a driver's license or a non-driver's, I asked the woman if I could use my school ID, which had a photo of me on it though. She's like, yeah, that's fine, you could use a passport, your school ID, your driver's license, your non-driver's. I'm like, okay. So if they say photo ID and they don't really say what, ask if you can use your license. If they say no, ask if you can use your non-driver's if you have one, or the license if you have one. If they say no, if you have a school ID, ask if you can use your school ID. If they say no, if you have a passport, ask if you can use that. I'm not sure which one they would say, but for me it was passport, school ID, driver's license, and a non-driver's. But here where I live, if you're not a minor, you have to have either I don't know about a passport, but I know for sure you'd have to have either a license, a driving license, or a non-driver's. One of those two, like a legit, like, state photo ID, not a school ID, because a school ID is a school ID, not a state. State as in driver's license or non-driver's. So it just depends on where you go. I would suggest calling them, even if it's for the same piercing, because things can change. But if you do get a different piercing, I would seriously recommend calling first, because this one was like 20, this one's like 50, this one was 50. So the difference for me was just the money, but things could change. So I seriously recommend calling them. Please just call them.